Welcome to Narrative Tales. In today's episode, I'll be interviewing Shreyas Juyal. Let's start with your education. What was your schooling and college like?
So, as I was saying, that I did my master's from National Institute of Bank Management. NIBM was established by Reserve Bank of India, which is the Central Bank of India, way back in 1969. In its early year, it was usually used for training the probationary officers or the senior officers of the banks, both public sector as well as private sector. In 2003, RBI felt the need that we need a course which is specific to the banking and financial needs of India. So in 2003, they started the MBA course, and from there, I passed out in 2017. I joined the course in 2015, and I passed out in 2017. They only offer one course, which is PGDM, which is Postgraduate Diploma Management in Banking and Finance. So basically, it's focused totally on banking and finance for both the Indian needs as well as for the international needs.
That's awesome. So, what do you think so how was your experience from going from your school to your college to the workforce?
So those three are totally different experiences. Of course, one because of age and maturity. Other thing is in terms of the responsibility that you get, right? In school, we did not have any responsibilities as well as any care whatsoever. Now, when I went to the college, of course, I had freedom, but I had responsibility as well. And especially a difference in the grading system. That's what I felt. Like in college, there is an absolute grading system. Like whatever marks you're getting, you're graded based on that. In the college, it was relative grading system. I could be scoring in 90s, but I could still be getting a C grade, right? Because others are getting more than me. So on a relative grading scale, I might be getting C. So that was my first real, exposure to the competition in the world. So that was that. And another from workforce, so far it has been a mixed experience. Depending on where I have been, I've been in two quasi-government organizations. I started my career with National Payments Corporation of India, which is the digital arm of Reserve Bank of India. So as you know that India is the world leader in when it comes to digital transactions. We have approximately 49% of the world digital transactions. And as you are aware, UPI is handling up to 2 billion transactions in a month. So there I joined the risk management department. So I've been in risk management for almost 8 years, more than 8 years actually. So I started off with NPCI. Then I moved to the National Stock Exchange of India, which is again a quasi-government organization, which handles the entire, as you're aware, as the name suggests, it's a stock exchange and all the trading happens through that. On a daily basis, we take care about 50,000 crores worth of transactions. It's a huge amount if you're considering that only 8% of Indian population actively trades. Out of 140 crores, you can imagine only 8% of the population trades. So after joining NSE, I was there for 3.5 years. In early 23, I joined Deloitte USA, Big Four Consulting, and I've been with them ever since.
That sounds intense. How did you manage the changes when it came to things like intense college grading?
So of course that was tough. It took me a while because from being a topper, I was actually almost at the bottom of the table. I lost my confidence. Of course, I need to have sessions. Then, fortunately, my father was very supportive of me. And one of my professors, God bless him, Professor Sanjay Basu, he's a leading authority when it comes to market risk in our country. So he actually supported me a lot. So did my father, and I had the support of my family. Because see, you are almost 1,400 kilometers away from your family, right? That was the first time in 20 years I left my home. I was just on my own. And I was learning the ropes of life. So it took me a bit of time, but over the period of time, I realized, okay, what is meant to happen, it will happen. And I know I'm going on a bit of philosophical rant over here, but you do not realize it when you're going through it. Once you go through it, you realize, okay, it was not a big deal. But at that point of time, it takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of patience. And for a 20-year-old, it's not that easy. Right? As a teenager, you have a lot of thinking going on in your early teens, in your early 20s that, oh no, what will this happen? What if that happened? So, it's just that it will pass away. Whatever is happening, it will pass away. You don't have to worry about it. But again, it took me a lot of time and going through it to realize that.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah. How did you decide to join the finance sector?
So that is a funny story. First thing first, of course, I was always interested in finance, the economics aspect of it, and uh, basically I wanted to be an investment banker. It always appealed me for some reason. And another thing was I thought that I was a bit of an introvert, so I thought if I be in banking and finance, I don't have to deal with many people. So that was, and plus I feel that numbers are much more easier to deal with than people. And it was, it did not have any gray area. It was just either black and white. Like whatever the numbers are showing you, that's the truth, right? So that was one of the major reasons. And of course, as I said, I was very much into investment banking. I love watching, how the entire economic policy shapes nations, not just one nation. In fact, how far-reaching its impact is. If you believe that, in 2008 there was economic crisis, global economic crisis. It happened in America, but the effects were felt all over the world. Same thing happens with any macroeconomic policies that happens. Like if Fed is cutting, which is your Central Bank of America, if they are cutting some rate, if they are increasing their bank rates, the entire world will get impacted by this. So that is something that excited me a lot. And of course, as I said, that I felt that it's much easier to work with on my own. I don't have to deal with many people. So that was there. But life works in a funny way. Even when I joined all these three organizations, I was in risk management department. So I was dealing with the entire organization, right? Unfortunately, that worked out for the best. Now I'm used to it. And as working for Deloitte, I'm dealing with international clients all over the world. Like you can talk about the largest investment banks in the world, largest banks in the world, financial institutions, and I'm working with them.
So you mentioned risk management. What does risk management look like?
Okay, so risk management, let me give you a brief idea. So risk management is something like, as the name suggests, it's the management of your risk, right? In an organization, there are different types of risk. There's of course credit risk. I'll give you an example of each of the risk as well, right? So for credit risk, let's suppose you're a bank, right? You have given me a loan. Now, what is the guarantee that I'll pay you back? Of course, you have collateral, but there is a chance that I could, default on that loan. So to keep the provision aside, what could be the provision, or what is the probability that what is the probability that these many percent of people only will give you your loan back, or this percent could go bad. And to keep the provision set aside is part of credit risk. So that is one. Another one is market risk. Market risk is what will happen. You have several investments in the market as in equities market or derivatives market. What if the price, if the market crashes? So in that case, what will be the impact on your organization? To calculate it and to keep the provision aside, that comes under market risk. Then there is liquidity risk. Liquidity risk is you need to have now liquid. When I say it does, it means what is the amount of cash or the money that you can arrange on a quick basis. So that's what it means by liquidity. So now what is because you have certain liabilities in your hand. So how you're able to manage it, right? So for that you need to have a certain liquid assets in your hand. So to manage that and to calculate what is the amount that you should have in liquid assets, that comes under liquidity risk. Now the final part is operational risk and regulatory risk, which I handle. So now what happens under operational risk is if you are in an organization on a daily basis, several activities are being followed, right? Several processes are being done. Now what will happen if one of the process fails, right? What will be the impact on the organization? What will be the financial impact? What will be the regulatory impact? And what will be the reputational impact of that particular failure in the organization? Right, so that's where I come in. So what we do is we make something called RCSA, which is risk and control self-assessment. Now in that we list out all the process. What we do is then we see what will happen if that process fails. What is the probability of that, and what will be the impact on the organization. Then basis that we identify certain controls that needs to be on the place that to keep and to ensure that those processes do not fail. Now let me be very honest. Even after controls being in place, there will be some cases that the process will fail. In that case, what will be the revised impact and revised probability of that particular event happening? That is one. Another one is regulatory compliance. So now regulatory compliance is, as I'm in India, I'm looking after RBI, which is Reserve Bank of India, and Security Exchange Board of India, SEBI. Their compliances. So they have certain compliances in picture. So you have to follow them. You have to ensure your organization is following them. So this is where I come in, and this is part of my job to ensure that the control testing is there for all the processes. Whatever controls are there, control testing is there. Your risk score is presented to the senior management or to the board of directors on a periodic basis. And the final thing is whatever your regulatory bodies are saying. Now, I'm in Deloitte right now, so I'm looking at SEC and FED. SEC is your Securities and Exchange Commission. So whatever these guys are saying, are the organization following it or not? And if not, then to make sure that all the process policies are up to the code of the regulators. So that's my job as of now.
Yeah, I understand. So, speaking of jobs, how did you find your first job?
So it was a campus placement.
Huh? Wait, what did you say?
Basically, it was a campus placement.
So what is that?
So basically, what happened? Okay. So in India, in the top colleges, and in all the colleges, in fact, companies come during the placement season, which is usually during October to December, in India. So what they do is they'll come, they'll interview you, and they'll hire fresher directly from the campus only, from the university campus. So you don't have to go or apply somewhere. I know that in US you have to apply for certain positions, right? You have to apply for internships, and then you'll get an interview. And after your internships, you'll be selected. It depends on your performance whether you'll be selected or not. So what happens in India is, of course, there are internships, but that's during the break period between your first and second year of your masters, or between the first and second and third year of your graduation. Now, when it comes to job, usually as I said, during October to December, firms come to your university or to your college. They'll interview over there only, and then basically your process and in your interview and your selection. I mean, how you have performed in that interview, you are selected for a particular job. So in every company, not in every company, in every university or college, there is a placement committee or placement cell. So which goes to the corporates, and they invite corporates to come down to our college and then interview us.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. So, speaking of like careers and stuff, who would you go to for career advice?
Okay, first thing first, you have to keep evolving yourself. The market is changing so rapidly that every 5 years you have to update yourself. No matter, you could be in a senior position, your job will become obsolete, right? I'll give you my example only. It's not just enough that I have did my master's in banking and finance, especially in risk management, right? I have to go a step further and do my FRM, which is financial risk management, which is a further step in my professional certification, right? You need to constantly evolve yourself. That is one. Another thing is you don't have to worry about anything. I mean, you have to, but don't overthink it, right? Things will happen. I know you're young. It sounds very it sounds very philosophical. Oh, he's old. He's saying that what will happen, it will happen. It's just a stupid thing. It's not like that. But you will only realize it with the passage of time. That what is meant to happen, it will happen. Only one thing is in your control is that you're giving your 100%. That's one. Another thing is for every fresher that joins the organization or just join the workforces, please have everything in writing. Please have everything in writing, because you never know what will happen. So make sure, this is my personal advice, that whatever happens, please make sure that everything I have a mail trail. You keep everything on the record so that if anything happens, you're safe. You know that you have not done anything, you have the record of that. It is actually much required, and it is universal across every organization, across every field, across every nation. You have to have that. Trust me when I say that, because there have been situations. If I did not had records, if I did not had the mail trail, I would have been in trouble, right? So you have to have that.
That's good advice. Yeah. So let's move on to some more current events.
Yeah, sure.
How do you think AI tools are affecting the finance field, and if they're reliable?
As of now, okay, how they're impacting, they are actually going to be, they are going to disrupt the playing field all around. Okay? They're going to do that. And in fact, they are doing it, especially when it comes to trading. The high frequency, there's something called high frequency trading, right? So if you're aware, if you look at the market, if you look at the news, you see ticker, right? Ticker is basically where the prices are coming out. That Apple is trading at this, or Apple is trading at that its price is going up or down, right? Not just Apple, Microsoft, or anything like that. Now, what is how AI is helping us is that for high frequency. Now, what I mean by high frequency trading is the trading is happening in microseconds, not even seconds or milliseconds. Microseconds trading is happening in microseconds, right? And now you're not just trading in absolute amount, right? You're taking profit from the last. You're trading up to 4 decimal points. Basically, let's say Apple is trading at 99.1234, right? So instead of 99.12, you're trading at $0.0034. So it's like that, and between that, it could be between 3.4 and 3.5, right? Let's say it's just going up by a 1 cent, or not even 1 cent, or like half a cent. You're taking profit out of that. So AI is helping in high frequency trading. But again, it is for us. It is also creating issues like let's say I do compliance management, right? As I said, we make sure that the everything that the company has to follow, they are up to the standards of the regulators. Now, what companies, large investment banks are doing, they are bringing in AI. They are saying that you don't have to. We'll fill the instructions in the AI tool, and it will automatically update the entire database or entire policies, right? But the challenges they are facing are that it's not absolute. The data could be wrong. The output they are giving is not certain. It's not 100% true. As of now, human intervention is required if you're doing anything in AI. You have to go through. You have to do the quality check, because you can be sure that in most of the cases, it is still in starting stage in banking and finance, right? It is still starting stage, except, I'm talking about on the regulatory side, regulatory and risk side. On trading side, it is actually actively been performing, as I said. But for this part, because we've been going through that, we are actually doing a beta test for a client. So we are seeing that, of course, there are some challenges, right? It is making our life easier. It is updating the policies as per the regulator, but there are certain it's not foolproof. You have to make the manual changes. It is not able to do that as of now. You have to do the manual changes. So yeah, for the next 10 years, I think, or next 5 years, 5 or 10 years, it will not be. It will take it that much time to mature enough to that you can just feed the data, and it will automatically give you the results that you're looking for. But as I said, as of now, you need human intervention.
I see what you mean. Do you think AI is
Yeah.
helping right now, or is it hurting more in the field?
Right now, it's somewhere in between. It is, of course, helping. It has. So again, it is somewhere in between, because it could go to the data that it is giving. Of course, the work is being automated. So that is helping us a lot. That is helping us in cutting down our turnaround time significantly, right? But on the other hand, there is a chance of data leakage. There is chance of incorrect data, or the data could be biased.
Yeah.
So, of course, and another thing, as you said, as I'll tell you, is that the way AI is evolving and the people are adopting to it are two different things. The way it's evolving, it is at a higher speed, and the way people are adopting to it, it's at a slower speed. So now, what is happening, because of which there is creating a gap, and of course, there's a friction over there, right? So you have to ensure that the people are also getting trained simultaneously, so that when AI takes when you're moving to AI, or when your systems are moving to AI, at least you have those sort of jobs, those departments which could look after that. Because in certain department, a certain work will become obsolete. Then you have to train your people into other work streams, or to make sure that they can handle the AI. Of course, another thing is where it has to work, where it's not where I believe it's creating an issue, not an issue per se, but where the fault lines are, that AI is still relying on the prompt that you're giving it to it, right? I'm aware. I'm sure you're aware, because your father is also working in the tech field. So now what is happening in this case is if you're not giving a correct prompt or a proper prompt, your entire data, your entire thesis could go for a toss, right? So I think first of all, because my company is also working on that, and we are being trained, and we have a special training on how to write a prompt. So I think that is what is more important as of now to take its help. But again, we have to be very secure because, as you are aware, data leakages could happen anytime. I think Apple or Microsoft, right now, some a huge data leakage happened, right? Some billions worth of user IDs and password were leaked on the dark web. I think it happened last week only, if I remember correctly. I don't know if you watched the news or not.
I haven't heard of that, but
Okay, so it happened last week. I think the data was leaked from the world top tech companies. So yeah, this happened, and I think it was in billions. The data points that were leaked. So yeah, I mean, I'll share the link with you, so you should go through it. So that's also one of the risks that we have. I mean, you're informed, and again, as you're aware, the another risk includes the morphed images that you're seeing all the time, right? Now, it could lead to communal tensions, it could lead to geopolitical tensions, as you're aware. It is happening a lot, especially with so yeah, that's the challenge.
yeah. Do you think there's gonna be a stage in the future where AI is gonna be so powerful that they won't need human intervention?
I know that is going to happen. I mean, I think so, but I think we should have controls in place because anything that becomes too strong, you know, it's not worth it. So what I believe is, of course, we need AI, right? I'll be very honest with you. We need AI to progress. Let's be very honest. I mean, because we have hit a certain stage that we can't do it on our own, and we need that. Now, what we also need is we need controls in place. Right? As I said, I'm a risk management guy. You can have a lot of processes. You can have 100 processes. You can have 1,000 processes. But until you do not have controls in the place, it is not going to work out. So we need AI, but we also need controls to ensure that it does not run rampant. It does not, it cannot be used for any other, malicious things, right? You could, I mean, if you think about it, we could use AI to hack. I mean, we can still hack, but effectively hack the nuclear program of any other country, right? So that could lead to the nuclear winter. We do not want that. I mean, it could happen. Let's be very honest. It could happen, right? So another point is that unless or until there are controls in place, it's not going to work out. So you need robust control. You need a proper regulatory framework in the place to ensure how we are, and not just a country-wise framework, right? You need an international framework in place on how you're going to manage it.
Yeah, I
And
see
that is
you
what
mean.
is important, especially when it comes to crypto or when it comes to risk. So for risk management, there is a global framework in place, right? It's called Basel. So now Basel 4 is working on. The reason it is named Basel because Bank of International Settlements is based in Switzerland and in a place called Basel. So the documents are named after that place, Basel, called Basel. So that's why. So like how you have a international framework for nuclear management, for waste management, for risk management, I think we need it for AI as well.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So
Yeah.
let's switch it up a bit. What advice would you give to someone who wants to join the finance field specifically?
Okay, so finance, I would say read up on the latest financial news. You should know what is happening in the market, and depending on where you want to go into finance, right? Finance is it's a huge sector. Like, where do you want to go? Do you want to go into banking and finance? Do you want to go into consulting? Do you want to go into trading or investment banks, right? So, depending on that, you need to work upon your general knowledge of that particular area, right? If you're into consulting, you have to read about little bit about everything because you could get anything in consulting. Consulting will throw everything and anything at you, especially in Big Four, right? You'll get like I have worked in internal audit, I have worked for control testing, and right now I'm handling the policy upgradation, right, as well as regulatory compliance of an investment bank. of a large investment bank. So again, this is my third project, and all three of them have been different, right? And all three of them have been totally separate from each other. But if you're going into banking, like you should read about the banking laws, you should read about, the general credit policies of your country or of your particular bank. You should be aware about them. It's good to know because those basics are the one which are going to build your foundation and going to help you in the long run. And you should know how like if you're doing this, then what will happen. So I think that it and keep on and I think Basel documents are one. They are the Bible of banking industry. I think whoever is entering into the banking and financial sector should be aware about and should go through the entire Basel document. They have to. It's an international. It's an international framework, and you have to be aware of it.
Yeah, yeah. So let's move to a different topic. So, what was it like being an older brother when you were younger? Do you think there were more responsibilities placed on you?
Yeah, I think more than that, I felt that I have to keep the responsibilities because my father is also an elder brother. So I've seen him handling all the responsibilities, right? So that somehow got ingrained in me. So it was not something that he said that, oh, you have to take the responsibilities or you have to, be responsible for this and that. No, I never had any pressure from my family on that front. But I'll be very honest, there's few things you learn while seeing, right? While watching or observing your surroundings or your parents. So that is something I learned from that, like watching my grandfather, watching my father, because both of them were elder of their house. My father is the elder brother. My grandfather was the elder brother. He basically established the entire clan in Delhi. So from that, I learned, okay, being in this thing, you have to take charge of certain responsibilities. So, I never did anything risky or anything like, I have to follow this or that. I was very clear, okay, I have to get a job. This is the field that interests me. So this is the path that I have to follow because I have to start supporting my family as soon as possible. So it is what I did. Now my younger brother, he's taking those chances. He's following his passion. I think I did have that luxury, but I never took on it, right? Because I was always conscious of the fact that I'm an older brother, that I'm the elder child, that I have to start supporting my family as soon as possible because we are middle class, right? So I have to do that. So that was somewhere back on the back of my mind, and I just took the safest route that was possible, and I ended up over here. That's okay.
That's really inspiring. So that's
See,
everything.
sometimes, yeah, sorry, you were
So
saying.
that's everything I have to ask for you. Is there anything you'd like to ask me?
No, I just want to wish you luck, man. My cousin told us what you have been doing, and I'm really happy, especially, and all the best for your summer school as well, man. And I hope you get into it, and I hope all this works out. And if there's anything I can do for your help, like, to help you, let me know. I'm always available. You don't have to worry about anything. You know?
Of course, thank
So
you.
that's from my end, right? Okay, sure. Welcome. Bye. Take care.
Thank you for watching this episode of Narrative Tales. If you enjoyed, check out some of my other content.